Attention passionate Atlanta, Falcons fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC South and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Atlanta Falcons' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Atlanta Falcons fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Atlanta, FALCONS, FANS. Let's get to the news. There's been some serious buzz swirling around the NFL lately, and it's not just your typical off-season chatter. No, this one's got the potential to shake up the NFC South in ways we haven't seen in a long time. It all centers around a possible blockbuster trade involving none other than Dak Prescott, the Dallas Cowboys franchise quarterback. Now I know what some of you might be thinking. Isn't he a Cowboy? Well, that's exactly the point. Rumors are swirling that the Cowboys are actively exploring a trade that could send Prescott to Atlanta, and if that happens, it could be a game-changer for the Falcons, their division rivals, and the NFC playoff picture as a whole. Let's break down what's going on here. The Cowboys, currently sitting at a 6-8-1 record, are at a crossroads. They're in the middle of a rebuild, especially on the defensive line and wide receiver positions, where they're desperately looking for upgrades. But one of their biggest issues has been the cap space. Right now, they're sitting with around $15 million, which isn't enough to make major moves in free agency. A trade involving Prescott could open up around $30 million in cap relief for 2026, giving Dallas some much-needed flexibility. So the idea is that the Cowboys might be willing to part ways with Prescott, especially since they're prioritizing youth at the quarterback position and draft picks over a veteran who's nearing his 30s. Now, what does this mean for Atlanta? Well, if you look at Prescott's stats, they're pretty impressive. Over his career, he's thrown for more than 35,000 yards with 225 touchdowns and just 85 interceptions. That's a pretty solid resume, especially considering he's been the Cowboys' starter since being drafted in 2016. In 2024, Prescott threw for 175 yards with 28 touchdowns and just 10 interceptions, maintaining a passer rating close to 100. He's known for his accuracy. PFF grades him around 88. 0 on average, and he also adds a dangerous element with his legs, rushing for about 500 yards over his career. What makes Prescott especially intriguing for the Falcons is his ability to elevate an offense. Atlanta's current quarterback, Desmond Ridder, has shown flashes but struggles with consistency, particularly in terms of yards per attempt, averaging just around 20 yards per play. Prescott, on the other hand, can add about 4 or 5 yards per attempt, which significantly boosts the team's explosiveness. Imagine a Falcons offense that instead of averaging around 200 yards through the air could project to surpass 300 yards with Prescott at the helm. That's a massive leap, and it would turn the Falcons into a true aerial threat, especially in a division where the Buccaneers and Panthers are trying to build their defenses. But it's not just about the passing game. Prescott's presence would also help balance the offense, opening up more opportunities for the running game, which last season was hovering around 400 yards. With play action and his ability to extend plays, the Falcons could see their rushing yards increase, creating mismatches that defenses would have a hard time containing. Think about the kind of pressure that would put on opposing defenses. If you have to worry about Prescott's arm and his mobility, that opens up a ton of options for Arthur Smith's offensive schemes. Defensively, the Falcons would benefit from an improved overall balance. Currently, they give up around 24 points per game, which isn't terrible but leaves room for improvement. With Prescott controlling the offense, they could keep their defense off the field longer, reducing the opponent's scoring opportunities and creating a more disciplined, cohesive unit. Plus, a more potent offense means fewer three-and-outs, which translates to less wear and tear on the defense. Now, let's talk about the playoff implications. Prescott is a proven quarterback in high-pressure situations, and his experience in the postseason is valuable. His addition could boost Atlanta's odds of making a deep playoff run, especially with the improved offensive production. Bookmakers are already adjusting their Super Bowl odds. Initially at plus 15-0, they're now dropping to around plus 6-0 if Prescott joins the Falcons. That's a huge shift, reflecting the increased confidence in Atlanta's chances. With Prescott, the Falcons could become a team that's not just looking to sneak into the playoffs, but is capable of making noise once they're there. And it's not just about the immediate impact. This trade could set the stage for a new era in Atlanta, one driven by a quarterback who can elevate the team and lead them to consistent success. Prescott's leadership, combined with the talent already on the roster, could turn Atlanta into a serious contender, reminiscent of the Eagles in 2022, who led their division and made a deep playoff run thanks to a balanced attack and a clutch quarterback. Of course, the Cowboys aren't just giving Prescott away. They're cautious about risking a decade of missed opportunities, especially with the team's offensive struggles and the need to rebuild around younger players and draft picks. They're eyeing the draft as a way to find their next franchise quarterback. But in the meantime, Prescott remains a valuable asset that could be available if the right offer comes along. What's truly fascinating about this potential trade is how it shifts the division power dynamic. The NFC South has always been up for grabs, but with the Falcons potentially acquiring Prescott, they could leapfrog the Buccaneers and Panthers in the standings. The Falcons already have a solid defense and a promising core of young players, but adding a veteran like Prescott would be the finishing touch, an ace in the hole that could propel them into serious Super Bowl discussions. Looking ahead to Super Bowl LX, the odds are already reflecting the buzz. With Prescott in Atlanta, the Falcons' Super Bowl odds could plummet from plus 15-0 to around plus 6-0, signaling that the bookmakers see this as a real possibility. His presence would dramatically increase their win probability, especially in shootouts and aerial battles. Think about the kind of matchups they could have, Prescott versus other top quarterbacks, creating must-watch games that could go down to the wire. Now, I know some of you might be skeptical, wondering if this is just wishful thinking. But the NFL offseason is full of surprises, and the league's landscape can change overnight. If Prescott ends up in Atlanta, it would be a seismic shift not only for the Falcons, but for the entire NFC South. The Cowboys, on the other hand, might face a tough road ahead, especially if they miss out on a talented quarterback in this draft or free agency. Their focus seems to be on rebuilding around youth and draft capital, which makes trading Prescott a logical, albeit bold, move. In conclusion, this potential trade isn't just about swapping a quarterback. It's about reimagining what Atlanta can be in the coming seasons. It's about giving Arthur Smith a true difference-maker who can elevate the entire offense and make the Falcons a team nobody wants to face. It's about shifting the power in the NFC South, making Atlanta a legitimate contender, and giving their fans hope for a Super Bowl run in the near future. Whether it happens or not, the mere possibility has fans buzzing, and it's a storyline that could define the offseason, and maybe even the next decade for our beloved Falcons. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUBE algorithm to keep recommending the latest Atlanta Falcons news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Atlanta Falcons fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Atlanta Falcons. Do you think Prescott would be the perfect fit? Are you excited about the possibility of seeing him in red and black? Or do you think the Falcons should focus on developing Ritter or drafting a young quarterback? Whatever your thoughts are, let us know. I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Atlanta Falcons news. This offseason is shaping up to be one of the most exciting in recent memory, and I can't wait to see what happens next. Keep supporting our team, keep the passion alive, and let's hope for some big moves ahead that will bring us closer to that Super Bowl we've all been dreaming of.